For Maribel Gillett, the single mother of a special needs son, life is already hard enough. One of New York's thousands of homeless, she has lived in a Bronx shelter for over 2 years, where the freezing temperatures aggravate her asthma. But as Al Jazeera revealed in January 2015, life becomes especially hard for 1 week each month, when Gillett gets her period. She then faces the daunting challenge of acquiring pads or tampons and finding a place for proper hygiene. This problem, however, extends far beyond Gillett alone. It is extremely difficult, both domestically and internationally, for homeless or impoverished women to get the proper sanitary products or hygiene they need during their periods. That's why it's crucial that we discuss the problems, causes, and solutions to the lack of period care products for women in extreme poverty. Now, before we get started, let's address what I'm sure most people are thinking. I'm uncomfortable talking about periods in front of a group of strangers. You may be uncomfortable hearing it, but that is exactly why we need to talk about it. An estimated 52% of the female population menstruates every month, yet it has become a silent issue. We must first discuss 2 problems that stem from improper menstrual hygiene: the impact on daily life and severe health risks. Initially, for women in developing countries, getting their period can be detrimental to daily life. The United Nations reported in 2013 that 10% of school-age girls in Africa will not go to school during menstruation because of the lack of proper sanitation. The amount of school missed each month forces some to drop out altogether. In addition, The Guardian of August 2014 reveals that women in these countries may miss work during their periods as well. They revealed how in Bangladesh, 73% of female factory workers missed approximately 6 days of paid work per month because of menstruation. Next, it's important that we recognize that periods, though a natural process, are still a medical issue, and as such, can have several harmful risks if not cared for properly. For most women, we can simply go to the store and purchase the supplies we need. But for too many, both in the US and across the globe, this is not an option. According to a 2013 Sustainable Sanitation for Water Management presentation, many women must use cloth or rags to make their own reusable pads, while others must resort to using materials such as paper, leaves, or even mud. And though reusable cloth may seem like a simple choice, even this option comes with a major price. Without access to clean water or adequate washing supplies, reusable materials can quickly become dirty and lead to bacteria and infection. Most notably, toxic shock syndrome, which can lead to limb loss or even death. A lack of sanitary products causes more than just discomfort. It can have dire consequences. We must next consider our 2 primary causes: a lack of accessibility and the stigma surrounding periods. First, women in poverty struggle to access pads or tampons because they are simply too expensive, or in some cases, unavailable. As reported by the New York Times in January 2015, for 40 million women living in poverty or on the brink of it, the monthly cost of sanitary products is a burden which stretches an already thin budget. And too often, homeless shelters cannot provide enough supplies for women who desperately need them. In 2012, UNICEF cited similar accessibility issues internationally, leaving many women with nowhere to turn. Second, perhaps the most detrimental cause is the stigma surrounding periods. In the US, women don't usually talk openly about their periods. Despite the fact that half the population experiences it, the topic remains unspeakable. Around the world, there are taboos surrounding menstruation, with some cultures even viewing it as shameful and dirty. And this is where the root of the problem is. If we're not willing to talk about it, how do we realize what's happening? As Jyoti Sanghera, chief of the UN Human Rights Office stated in 2014, the stigma surrounding menstruation and menstrual hygiene is a violation of human dignity. The menstrual hygiene problems impoverished women face will continue to remain invisible if we continue to look away. Now, to solve this, we obviously, and unfortunately for many reasons, can't make periods disappear altogether. But thankfully, there are simple solutions that anyone, not just women, can take part in. First, simply donate. A January 2015 Huffington Post article revealed that when homeless shelters were asked about needed donations, the overwhelming consensus was for pads and tampons. Donating a box of pads to your local shelter, really no different than donating a pair of shoes or a can of food. You can even consider starting a tampon drive at your school or local community, like 2 New Jersey teens did earlier last year, according to a previously cited New York Times article. In addition, look for companies such as She Thinks, which will donate pads to African villages for every product purchased. And finally, it's time to speak up about this silent issue. The only way to break the stigma is to talk about it. When I first brought this topic up to one of my coaches, I was so shy about it, I could barely even say it out loud. So, for the rest of practice, she had me explain my idea to anyone who walked into the room. But funny enough, once I explained the problem, no one was uncomfortable, and I felt more confident talking about it. I know it's hard or even intimidating. But if we all did our part in raising awareness about periods in poverty, it will make a world of difference to women in your community and across the globe. Small steps can lead to big change. Period. After examining the dire problems that stem from improper menstrual hygiene and the causes of why it too often goes unnoticed, we found simple solutions for how to start raising awareness and initiate change. There shouldn't be shame in acknowledging that women get periods. But for women in poverty, reaching out for help is hard enough without the added stigma of the topic. And no woman deserves to face this problem in silence. That's why we must all do our part and speak up for those who are too often voiceless. Together, maybe we can change the world, one tampon at a time.